If Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties.
Catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
You already know the internet loves drama. And baby, this Diddy mess, it's been an all-you-can-eat scandal buffet. And just when folks thought it couldn't get any juicier, boom, another wild twist hits the plate. This time, the spotlight's on none other than Bishop T.D. Jakes, the megachurch icon, the spiritual voice to millions. Out of nowhere, he announces he's stepping down from the Potter's house, and now the streets are buzzing louder than ever. Officially, it's all being brushed off as a personal decision. Health, new ventures, the usual blah, blah, blah. But Monique, oh no, sis ain't buying that for 1 second. According to her, it's not just a retirement, it's a cover-up. She says this sudden exit is directly tied to Diddy's ongoing mess. Yep.
I'm gonna lay my hands on you, Bishop. And he said, and then it's on the internet. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
Word is swirling that Jakes might have been mixed up in some of those private affairs Diddy's being accused of. And allegedly the higher-ups at the Potter's house caught wind of it. Sources say they didn't want to risk a full-blown PR disaster. So instead of letting the drama blow up in their faces, they gently encouraged Jakes to step down before things got too hot to handle. Basically, they didn't want Diddy's drama dripping down their church aisles like holy water gone bad. Now here's the kicker. Monique says she's got receipts. She's ready to talk. Buckle up, because Monique's not playing. She's ready to drop some bombs about why Bishop T.D. Jakes really stepped down. And trust, it's not the version his team is pushing. Let's break this down. The news that Thomas Dexter Jakes, the T.D. Jakes, is walking away from his role as senior pastor of the Potter's house? That's not just another headline. That's a cultural earthquake. Social media lit up like fireworks on the 4th of July. This wasn't just church news, this was global chatter. We're talking about a man whose name rings bells far beyond the pulpit. The same T.D. Jakes who's been preaching, leading, and shaping culture since the 90s. The same man whose sermons turned into viral sound bites, whose books flew off shelves, whose televised services hit homes across continents. This ain't some regular preacher retiring. It's like when the Pope steps down or the Dalai Lama goes silent. Jakes isn't just a pastor. He's a certified icon in the Black community and beyond. His impact, massive. He's been invited into White Houses, spoken at the funerals of legends like Whitney and Aretha, and advised presidents from George W. Bush to Barack Obama. That's power. So when he suddenly calls it quits, you better believe people are asking why. And Monique, she's not here for the PR spin. She says there's way more behind the scenes, some deep, dirty secrets that tie back to Diddy's chaos. And she's got no problem pulling back the curtain. Because let's be real, you knew there had to be a but, right? Lately, things ain't been so picture perfect for Bishop Jakes. Behind all the praise, prestige, and polished sermons, there's been some serious side-eye flying around. Whispers have started creeping into the conversation, quietly tying him to the storm surrounding Diddy.
But there will be a time. So you can stop dragging people and arguing with people and fighting and just log off. All you do is just hit the button. Right there. Log off.
And let's be real, those kinds of connections, they can shake even the strongest image. We're talking about a man who built an empire on trust and respect. So when these kinds of rumors start swirling, that whole carefully built legacy starts looking a little shaky. People start pulling back. That admiration, that respect, it starts to fade when the streets start talking. And now Monique has entered the chat, and she's not holding nothing back. She just dropped a truth bomb that's got everyone side-eyeing this sudden retirement. Forget all that safe talk about new ventures and rest. Monique says, nah, this wasn't no peaceful exit. This was a quiet step down under pressure. According to her, Bishop Jakes is tied way deeper into Diddy's private world than anyone expected. She's talking about those wild, exclusive parties, the ones people barely whisper about, and she's saying Jakes wasn't just aware, he might have been in the mix. And now that the feds are knocking at Diddy's door, people are tripping over themselves to escape the fallout. Monique's throwing serious shade, and her theory? It's wild, but folks are listening. She suggests Bishop Jakes might have gotten too close to the fire. Maybe the glitz, the money, and Diddy's flashy lifestyle pulled him in deeper than he expected. And maybe, just maybe, he got involved in some things he's now regretting big time. When the heat cranked up, allegations of drugging, trafficking, and all kinds of mess, Jakes allegedly tried to keep cool, deny, and distance himself, hoping it would all pass like a bad storm. But this storm, it's looking like a full-blown hurricane. Now here's where it gets crazy. Monique says Diddy, who's now facing the real possibility of hard time, is feeling cornered, and that's when people get dangerous. According to her, Diddy ain't just sitting on secrets, he's sitting on a vault of receipts. We're talking files, recordings, even pictures that could flip the whole industry upside down. It's the nuclear option. If Diddy goes down, he's not going alone. He's allegedly ready to take everybody with him. Names, dates, dirty details, and all. And Monique's theory? Jakes knows what's coming. She thinks he saw the writing on the wall and decided to step away before the detonation. That resignation, it wasn't peace, it was protection. He's ducking for cover before Diddy drops the bomb and the truth scorches everybody in its path. And now, Monique's saying Jakes didn't just walk away from his ministry to pursue peace. Nah, she claims he's ducking for cover before Diddy gets mad enough to start naming names. According to her, this move was a calculated one. A quiet retreat before the real war begins. A preemptive strike to protect his image before any receipts hit the internet. And you gotta admit, this theory, it's juicy. It does make you raise an eyebrow. The timing alone is just too suspicious. Right when Diddy's situation explodes, Jake suddenly steps down. No warning, no buildup, just gone. People aren't buying the sabbatical talk anymore. And let's not forget, Jake's name has popped up alongside Diddy's before, even if it was in low-key, unverified whispers. But now, with Diddy's legal drama boiling over, those whispers are turning into full-blown speculation. It's giving soap opera energy, powerful men, hidden truths, and a possible downfall that could rock not just Hollywood, but the church world too.
You've been to these parties, right?
Oh, yeah. I was there when he was doing the white parties in the Hamptons and the whole 9 yards, so I know what goes on at the parties. If, they probably got a little bit more freakier, as time went on, because they got to the point whereas that they didn't even care. It used to be secretly, where people used to go to, separate rooms and different rooms, and they wasn't doing that out in the public, but now they don't care. Men kissing men and all this other stuff. That's great.
Whether Monique's theory is fact or fiction, one thing's for sure. It's added a whole new layer of chaos to an already wild situation. And the fans, they see it. One person even posted, TD Jakes just announced he's stepping down from the Potter's house. Diddy's trial is about to expose things that won't stay buried. We're finally about to see what's really been happening behind the pulpit. Word on the street, Jakes didn't just resign, he escaped. Now here's where it really starts sounding like a movie plot. Rumors are flying that Bishop Jakes is about to flee the country. Yeah, you heard that right. Word on the street is that he's planning to vanish before Diddy's trial kicks off on May 5th. One fan posted, TD Jakes steps down a week before the Diddy trial. Come on, that's not a coincidence. Another added, Diddy trial next week, Jakes retired this week, and Creole Thief tour flopping. Oh, next week's about to be chaos. The theory? Jakes is panicking. Folks think he's afraid he'll get pulled into the legal mess. Whether it's being called to testify, having some hidden skeletons dragged out, or just being associated with Diddy when everything explodes and apparently his master plan. Bounce now, before it's too late. They're saying he packed his bags and ghosted because there's no other way to protect his image. After all, his whole career is built on that flawless rep. And when that starts to crack, you either face it or run. And right now, people think he's running. And let's be real, maintaining that clean pastor look in the spotlight ain't easy. Jakes made it look effortless. He sold millions of books preaching faith, success, and family values. He showed up in movies, on TV, at the White House, all while projecting this wholly untouchable vibe. He built a whole empire off that squeaky clean persona. For years, Bishop Jakes mastered the art of the image. Clean, powerful, respected. Everything about him was carefully crafted. Every sermon, every book, every film role, it all pointed to the same narrative. A man of God, a man of the people, a moral compass for the culture. But here's the hard truth, that you can't wear a mask forever. You can sell out arenas, write 1,000 books, and show up in every inspirational film you want. But the real you, eventually it steps into the light. And if that real version of Jakes was quietly rubbing shoulders with Diddy's inner circle, showing face at those exclusive after-dark parties, and allegedly taking part in things that no pastor should ever be near, that's a serious problem. The rumors say Jakes lived a double life, one polished for the public, the other hidden in the shadows. But when your name gets tangled up with someone as infamous and as investigated as Diddy, secrets don't stay buried, they bubble up fast. Now that Diddy's empire is in freefall, those cracks in Jakes' image are splitting wide open. And Monique, she's not just watching, she's exposing. She claims Jakes tried to separate who he was in private from who he played in public, but that wall's coming down quick. She says the truth has been hiding in plain sight, and now that the lights are on, there's nowhere left to run. The facade's crumbling, the whispers are growing. And with Monique turning up the heat, everyone's scrambling for answers. And just so no one's lost in the chaos, let's rewind real quick and fill in a key piece of this puzzle, especially if you're still catching up on why Jakes is really in the middle of all this. Let's get one thing straight. This ain't just some wild internet rumor spiraling out of control. Nope, this thing has legs, and now it's stepping straight into the courtroom. Bishop T.D. Jakes' name is officially being dragged into the Diddy disaster, and not just in passing. His connection is part of a federal lawsuit. Yeah, this is real. The drama just went legal. Here's the breakdown. A music producer named Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who used to work closely with Diddy, filed a bombshell lawsuit. And in it, he makes a jaw-dropping claim. He says that Diddy plotted to use his relationship with Bishop Jakes to clean up his public image after the whole Cassie situation exploded. That's right. According to the documents, Diddy wanted to leverage Jakes' influence like some spiritual PR move to soften the fallout after Cassie Ventura filed her explosive lawsuit. And if that wasn't enough, Jones's own legal filing is packed with heat. It spans 98 pages and was filed in the Southern District of New York. Inside, Jones says that from September 2022 to November 2023, while living and working with Diddy, he was drugged, intimidated, and threatened. And that's just his side of the story.
So why do you think he was going to these parties?
I think that he's going to the Diddy parties, you know. Bruh. If he's going, well, we know he's going to the Diddy parties, and I know that it's, I know what usually happens at the Diddy party, or what we told this happened at the Diddy parties. Maybe he needs to see it for himself, man. Maybe he needs to go there and really be involved in some things that could help save some individuals while they going to those parties. Or maybe he just going to, man, it's hard to even talk about. Why would you find a religious man, you know, when you know that the saints supposed to separate themselves from the sinners? And why would a religious man like himself be at a party which ain't nothing but sin that's going on, bro? Whether it's drinking, maybe fornicating, maybe, like I said, men on men, women on women. It's hard to put in perspective unless he's involving himself what is actually going on at the parties. It's hard, brother. Bro, you know, you can't, I really don't know why, as a spiritual advisor to him, that they buddy while he got a party with him like that and be at his parties. It's got to be, maybe it's something more that meets the eye.
Oh, and guess what? It doesn't stop with Diddy. The lawsuit also names some big names as co-defendants. Cuba Gooding Jr., Diddy's adult son Justin, his chief of staff Christina Coram, Universal Music Group CEO Sir Lucian Grange, and even former Motown Records CEO Ethiopia Habtemariam. Now here's where things start getting extra messy. Bishop T.D. Jakes might not be an official defendant in that lawsuit, but don't get it twisted. His name does come up. And that one mention, it's got everybody talking. According to Rodney Lil Rod Jones, he recorded hours of video and audio showing Diddy, his staff, and others caught up in some serious illegal activity. Everything from drugs to gunplay to flat-out criminal behavior. But it didn't stop there. In December 2023, the Dallas Morning News reported that Bishop Jakes' name started popping up online in connection to Diddy's drama. And what were people saying? That he might have attended some of Diddy's infamous parties? Yeah, those parties. The kind people whisper about but never really describe. It was a plot twist nobody saw coming. Social media was on fire with unverified reports dragging Jakes straight into the middle of the chaos. And with Diddy's world unraveling, folks were quick to connect the dots, true or not. To his credit, Jakes didn't stay silent. During his Christmas Eve service at the Potter's house, he directly addressed the rumors. He denied everything, said it was all one big mix-up. But here's the thing, a lot of people weren't buying it. The way he dodged around the details, it didn't exactly scream innocence to everyone watching. With the avalanche of accusations crashing down around Diddy, just being mentioned in the same sentence started to leave a stain. Whether true or not, Jakes' reputation took a hit, and fast. Even if there's no proof he did anything wrong, just having your name tied to those kind of parties, that's enough to shake up a lifetime image in seconds. And in that service, Jakes admitted something that raised even more eyebrows. He said, the worst that could happen if everything was true. During that now infamous Christmas Eve service, Bishop Jakes said something that made jaws drop across the room, and not in a good way. He stood before his congregation and said, all I got to do is repent, sincerely from my heart. There's enough power in the blood to cover all kinds of sin. I don't care what it is, the blood will fix it. Then came the line that really set people off, but I ain't got to repent about this. And just like that, the room shifted. Instead of coming out with a clear, bold denial of the explosive rumors tying him to Diddy's alleged shady dealings, Jakes leaned into the message of redemption and grace. He didn't say, it's all false. He didn't slam the accusations. He preached about forgiveness as if he was already preparing hearts for the worst. And that's exactly what rattled folks. People expected him to stand tall and fight back against the claims, but the way he talked, like maybe, just maybe, he was entertaining the idea of guilt. Hypothetically or not, it gave people something to hold on to, and not in a good way. It wasn't just what he said, it was what he didn't say. That hesitation, that spiritual deflection felt like a warning shot, like he was softly setting the stage in case the truth ever came crashing down. To many watching, it felt less like a sermon and more like a subtle confession, a quiet way of saying, if this comes out, I've already made peace with it. And that sent the speculation into overdrive. And the fact that Bishop Jakes chose to preach about repentance instead of flat out denying the allegations, yeah, that move lit the internet on fire. People weren't just listening, they were dissecting every word. The silence on a direct "I didn't do it" was loud, too loud. And that gap, that missing affirmation of innocence, had folks wondering, what exactly is he not saying? But Monique's theory isn't the only reason people are side-eyeing Jakes. Let's rewind to 2022 when another moment raised some serious eyebrows. A video surfaced showing Bishop Jakes at none other than Diddy's massive 53rd birthday bash in Los Angeles, and social media exploded. This wasn't some quiet dinner, it was a full-blown star-studded spectacle. A-list guests, champagne everywhere, flashing lights, wild energy, everything you'd expect from a classic Diddy party. And right in the mix, Bishop Jakes looking right at home, and that clip instantly caused friction, especially among the Christian community online. People were like, what's a man of God doing at a party like that? Diddy's parties are infamous for excess, indulgence, and a reputation that doesn't exactly scream holy. So seeing a spiritual leader, a pastor admired for decades, mingling in that environment,
It's very inappropriate of a man of a cloth to be at a party like that and then dancing across the stage, because he's dancing at Diddy party. But you have to understand that maybe his house ain't right.
it didn't sit right with a lot of folks. Was it just a casual appearance, or was it something more? That's the question that never quite went away. The whole situation reignited a deeper debate, the age-old tension between spiritual leadership and secular influence. And in Jakes' case, the optics were rough. People started questioning everything, including how deep his relationship with Diddy really went. The backlash from that party clip, immediate and intense. It served as a major reminder. When you're a public figure, especially a religious leader, your personal choices are always under the microscope. And when your name's already floating through controversy, every move gets amplified. As soon as footage of Bishop Jakes at Diddy's 53rd birthday bash hit the internet, the damage control kicked into overdrive. Derek Williams, executive vice president of TD Jakes Entertainment, who also happened to be at the party, stepped up to run interference. Speaking to the Christian Post, CP, Williams tried to downplay the whole thing, claiming Jakes had only made a brief stop at the party while they were in LA for business. He painted it as a casual in and out moment, not a celebration, not an endorsement, and definitely not a sign of alignment with Diddy's lifestyle. Another unnamed source chimed in too, telling CP that to their knowledge, this was the only Diddy event Jakes had ever attended. Clearly they were trying hard to push the narrative that the two weren't as close as people were starting to believe. But Williams didn't stop there. He leaned into Jakes' business role as a filmmaker, a media executive, and a pioneer in value-driven storytelling. He explained that Jakes showed up not as a partygoer, but as a CEO paying professional respect. According to him, this was about honoring Diddy as the former chairman of Revolt, not partying with him. In other words, they tried to spin it as a business move, a polite gesture, not a personal connection. But by then, the internet had already decided it looked way too cozy. That viral party clip didn't just cause a buzz, it sparked a full-blown firestorm. And for someone like Bishop Jakes, the fallout was immediate. It was a sharp reminder that when you're a religious figure, every move you make, every person you stand next to, gets examined under a microscope. The moment that footage of Jakes at Diddy's 53rd birthday bash hit the internet, a major cleanup mission was launched behind the scenes. Derek Williams, executive vice president of TD Jakes Entertainment, and yes, also spotted at the party, rushed to shut the noise down. Speaking to the Christian Post, CP, Williams tried to spin the narrative fast. He claimed Jakes only made a brief stop at the party and that it all happened while they were in LA on business. According to him, it was a quick drop-in, not a celebration, not a wild night, just a moment in passing. Not an endorsement, not a party-goer move, just a respectful appearance. That was the story. To add more distance, another insider told CP that as far as they knew, it was the only Diddy party Jakes had ever attended. You could feel the effort to draw a line between the pastor and the music mogul, quickly and firmly, but Williams didn't stop at timing. He shifted the narrative to business. He reminded folks that Bishop Jakes is a filmmaker, an executive producer, a pioneer of faith-based cinema. He said Jakes showed up as the CEO of TD Jakes Entertainment, paying professional respect to Diddy, the former chairman of Revolt. They framed it all as a business move, a polite nod, not a personal alignment. Even with the full-blown PR spin in motion, the public just isn't buying it. The official line, Bishop Jakes was in LA for important business meetings, and making a brief appearance at Diddy's birthday was just a professional courtesy, a respectful nod to the former chairman of Revolt, since after all, Jakes' sermons air on Revolt's network. That's what Derek Williams, Jakes' EVP, is holding on to. He told the Christian Post that they both stopped by, greeted the family, Bishop Jakes recorded a quick birthday message, and then they were out, straight to their next meeting. Nothing more, nothing less. And Williams insisted any accusation to the contrary is wholly unsubstantiated, unverified, and false. But here's the thing, people aren't feeling it, not one bit. At this stage, the public trust is cracked, and for many, these statements feel less like truth and more like a polished script. And it's not just Monique stirring the pot anymore. Enter Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard. This ain't some random YouTuber or internet troll. This man was on the inside. He saw what really happened behind those closed doors at those high-security invite-only parties, and now he's speaking out. According to Gene, the idea that Jakes was just stopping by doesn't hold up. He strongly hinted that the bishop might have been doing more than just greeting the family. While he didn't outright accuse Jakes of anything illegal, his tone and choice of words left nothing to the imagination. Gene's dropping statements that are heavy, charged, and hard to ignore. And given his history with Diddy, folks are listening closely. Here's where it gets real, because Gene Deal isn't just repeating gossip or riding the wave of internet speculation. Nah, he's claiming he saw Bishop Jakes at Diddy's parties with his own eyes. This ain't hearsay. This is coming from someone who lived in the belly of the beast. Gene wasn't some guy standing outside the velvet ropes. He was inside, part of Diddy's trusted inner circle. He was the one watching the doors, managing the chaos, and seeing everything that went down behind the scenes. And his words, they carry weight. He didn't just say Jakes showed up. He strongly implied the bishop wasn't there for a polite handshake or a quick drop-in. According to Gene, Jakes was participating. In what exactly? That's what has everyone on edge. Because when you hear that from someone who actually had eyes on the room, it hits different. And let's be real. This isn't just a bad look. It's a massive contradiction to everything Bishop Jakes has stood for publicly. A man who built his legacy on faith, discipline, and leadership, now being painted as someone potentially moving in those party circles. That's not just scandal. That's a credibility crisis. It's one thing when social media speculates, but when someone who was actually there starts talking, it makes the whole thing harder to ignore. Gene Deal's words are fueling suspicion, and now people aren't just asking if Jakes was connected to Diddy, they're wondering how deep it really went. This testimony shifts everything. It adds weight to the whispers and paints Jakes as more than just a distant associate. It suggests he was close, too close. And when that kind of involvement gets exposed, people start questioning everything, his judgment, his integrity, even the message he's preached for decades. And get this, now word is going around that Diddy, locked up and feeling the walls close in, actually reached out to Bishop Jakes, asking for help. Can you believe this twist? The rumor mill is saying that Diddy, feeling the pressure and knowing Bishop Jakes has major influence, reached out for help. Word is, Diddy thought Jakes could pull a few strings, maybe make some calls, lean on a connection, and help ease the legal heat. Even just publicly likely vouch for him to soften the narrative. But here's the kicker. According to insiders, Jakes said no. Apparently, he was terrified of what getting involved might do to his already fragile public image. Let's be real. His name was already being whispered in connection with the lawsuit. If he stepped in to help Diddy, that spotlight would have gotten way hotter. So instead of risking his empire, Jakes reportedly chose to fall back and stay out of it entirely. But Diddy? Oh, he didn't take that rejection lightly. Allegedly, Diddy flipped. The story goes that he threatened to hit back hard with leaks. That's right. Audio clips, photos, maybe even video footage of Jakes at those infamous parties. Things that could totally wreck his reputation and maybe even open him up to legal trouble of his own. And that's the alleged breaking point. Insiders say that was the moment Jakes knew it was time to move, resign, step back, and maybe even disappear before May 5th, when Diddy's trial is set to begin. They say it wasn't just a resignation, it was a calculated escape before the receipts started dropping. So what do you think? Is Bishop Jakes hiding something, or is this all just smoke with no fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the next explosive update. I post stories like this every day, pulling back the curtain on your favorite celebrities and the secrets they don't want you to know. See you in the next one.